Welcome back to Gadget at thetechstop.net. It's a place where it's always time to get your geek on. I'm Father Robert Ballester of the Society of Jesus. I'm a member of the California province of the Jesuits. We are the largest religious order in the Catholic Church. And I'm here at my new digs in D.C. at the Jesuit Conference, about 2 blocks away from the White House. Now, we're going to start off this new generation of Gadget episodes with a device that many thought would never end up in my personal inventory. And that's this. This is the iPhone 3GS. Now, I haven't been the biggest fan of Apple, partially because their devices are so closed up, but also because, well, there's just been an air of snobbery that's come along with the cult of Mac, and that's kind of put me off. But I have to give credit where credit is due. This is a phenomenal device, partly because it is a great combination of engineering and style and function, but also because it has changed the game in the cell phone and personal electronic device market, and that's not an easy thing to do. But there has been a problem with the iPhone since its inception, from the original to the 3G to the 3GS, and that is battery life. We've just seen the battery life decrease as they've added more functions. Now, they give us a couple of hints for increasing the battery life, and it normally centers around turning off location services, or 3G, or Wi-Fi, and that works. But what good is it to have a next-generation phone if you have to turn off the next-generation functions? The other option, the other answer, has been to get some sort of external power source. And so without further ado, I introduce you to the Mophie Juice Pack Air.
The Mophie Juice Pack Air is a second-generation external battery for the iPhone 3G and 3GS. Designed to be a second skin for your iPhone, the Juice Pack Air will increase all measurements of the iPhone. The height will increase by 0.4 inches, from 4.5 to 4.9. The width by 1/10 of an inch, the thickness by 1/4 of an inch from 0.48 to 0.75, and the weight by 2.5 ounces from 4.8 to 7.4. Using the Mophie Juice Pack is a no-brainer. Simply remove the top of the unit, slide in your iPhone, replace the top of the case, and turn it on. There are recessed openings in the Juice Pack Air for the volume and power buttons, the headphone jack, the camera, and the ringer switch. I was a little worried that the headphone jack was too deep to be used by a standard pair of headphones, but my concern proved to be unfounded. Inside the Juice Pack is a standard 30-pin Apple iPod docking connector that links the external battery and the sync pass-through to your iPhone. The front of the Juice Pack Air is worthy of note because Mophie added a lip to the case that keeps the screen from contacting a flat surface should the combined unit be placed face down. This added layer of protection is welcomed by anyone who has ever scratched the screen of their iPod. The bottom of the Juice Pack Air has a micro USB connector that lets you simultaneously charge both the Juice Pack and a docked iPhone, as well as sync the iPhone without having to take it out of the air. That connector is adjacent to a power switch that lets you turn off the external battery, disconnecting it from the iPhone while still maintaining the ability to charge and sync. There is a 4 LED indicator at the back of the Juice Pack Air that gives you an at-a-glance view of the charge level and charge status of the Juice Pack's 1200 mAh battery. Pushing the button next to the LEDs will illuminate up to 4 of the lights, letting you know how much power is left in the pack. During charging, one of the lights will flash, giving you an approximate charge level until all 4 lights are steady. When I plugged the Mophie Juice Pack Air into the USB port of my laptop, I was able to charge the unit from dead to full in about 3.5 hours. When I plugged directly into an AC-DC adapter, the Juice Pack charged in an average of 2.5 hours. Our testing methodology was relatively straightforward. We charged the Juice Pack Air to capacity, then plugged in a fully charged iPhone. In the first set of tests, we ran a rather unrealistic configuration of the iPhone to see how much power we could coax from the air. We turned on all the services, 3G, location, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and push, and kept the screen on while running video. In this configuration, the combined Juice Pack iPhone ran for 5 hours before dying. As a mid-range test, we kept all services on, but only used the iPhone for 30 minutes of each hour. With such settings, the Juice Pack Air lasted for almost 7 hours before switching to the iPhone's internal battery. In the final test, we configured the iPhone for a low-power, real-world loadout. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, location services, and push were all turned off. The screen was on and the phone transmitting data and voice for 5 minutes out of each hour, and 3G or Wi-Fi being used for an additional 5 minutes each hour. In this configuration, the Juice Pack alone lasted for 11.5 hours before switching to the internal iPhone battery. Your iPhone mileage will vary depending on how you use your iPhone and how strong of a signal you have in your location. but it's clear that the Juice Pack Air is an easy way to almost double your runtime. The Mophie Juice Pack Air is available now. It comes in black, white, or purple and can be purchased for about $80.
Now I know that the Juice Pack Air isn't going to be for everyone. Most people have bought the iPhone because it is so small, because it is so thin, because it is so light. They like the idea that it can do so much in a package that's, well, just tiny. But there are plenty of people, like myself, who will sacrifice some of that thinness, some of that weight, some of the dimensions of our iPhone if it means that we can make it run longer than 4 hours continuously. I mean, what good is your really cool thin phone if after 3 or 4 hours of continual usage, you have to have it plugged into an external adapter or just let it go dead? Furthermore, having the Juice Pack for a few months now and being able to play with it, what I have found is that I actually like the added dimension and the added weight. When I was using just the raw 3GS, I found that I always felt as if I was just gripping the edges of the iPhone. Now that I've got it inside this little case, it conforms to my hand and it actually gives it a nice little heft to it. And for me, that's what I prefer. Now, the added benefit to that is that now that I'm using my own 3GS, I'm much more protective of it. And this does give it a very nice, well, armored shell. It's got this polycarb casing, it's got the battery, it's got all the electronics inside, so it does actually do better than, you know, one of those cheapy cases that you might buy from the Apple store. Furthermore, the lip around the edge of the screen, it's a nice little feature because it means that if you accidentally put it on a table and it slides, and let's say there's a grain of sand on the table or salt or whatever it might be, you're not going to scratch up the screen because you've got a little bit of clearance. That being said, there are a few things that are annoying about this. The first thing is the dimensions. The second thing is the fact that there is no dock connector. I mean, this micro USB port is very useful if you just want to sync or charge it. But if you are one of these people who has a collection of devices that dock with the iPhone, everything from chargers to car accessories to little stereo systems, it means you're going to have to take it out of the case before you can actually use it. For me, the biggest thing has to be this funky thing that happens every once in a while, probably because I don't think the Mophie is a 100% licensed product, and that is every once in a while when you put in the iPhone, it gives you an error message saying that this is not an approved Apple device, and you have to take out the iPhone and plug it back in. That also probably has something to do with the fact that when the battery gets really, really low, like just about to die, it will flip back and forth, on and off, and so you see the little charge indicator go on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Now, if the idea of having the Juice Pack is to keep you from having to use up the charge cycles, that's very counterproductive. Even with that, this is a fantastic product. The fact that I can go the entire day without having to worry about charging my iPhone, and that's with periodic use. Or I could go several days if I'm really just using it as a phone and an occasional contact manager, well, it's priceless. Furthermore, the protection that it gives me means that I don't have to necessarily worry about putting this in another case in order to keep my iPhone safe, and I think it's worth the peace of mind. If you are looking for something to extend the runtime on your iPhone 3G or 3GS, if you want something that can both power and protect your device, if you want something that is stylish for, well, let's say bigger hands, might I suggest you take a look at the Mophie Juice Pack Air. You can find out more about it by going to their website at www.mophie.com, or you can go to our website at www.thetechstop.net and read our full review. If you want to send us questions either about the Mophie or about any of the other products we've reviewed on Gadget, you can reach us at gadget@thetechstop.net. Well, I've been Father Robert Ballecer. This has been the Jesuit Conference in D.C. And remember, there's no Uber Geek without you.